So if I mention the words shoulder pain or rotator cuff issues and you know what I'm talking about, you're in the right place. My name is Dawn. I'm with New Dawn Exercise Therapy. And like yourself, I've worked with so many clients who've dealt with those nagging shoulder issues, those things that seem to go on for months and just really limit what you can do in your day-to-day activities. And I know for myself, I've experienced shoulder issues on either side and how to work through those, and they can be very frustrating. So let's review some things. First of all, let's talk about what is your rotator cuff. Well, the rotator cuff is a group of 4 tendons and muscles, and the main function is to take this upper arm bone and to keep it attached up into your shoulder. And it works really well when it's working well, but the thing is, if you get a little injury or a little inflammation, everything in there is kind of packed so tightly that all it takes is a little bit of inflammation, a little bit of injury, and things can really flare up and get painful, and you might find you can't move your arm very well. So we want to keep your shoulder moving and keep it healthy. So what do you do if you want to keep your shoulder healthy or you've got a little something going on? We're going to talk about a number of things that you can do on your own that will help, and hopefully will help you avoid a trip to see the orthopedic surgeon or the physical therapist. Those might be things you need to do down the road, but right now let's think, what can you do now? First thing is posture. Since everything is packed in there so tightly, we want to get you used to pulling your shoulder blades back and down, okay? Because by the simple process of doing that, you create more space in here for everything to move around. Now, if you look around, even at yourself, most of us, we round our shoulders throughout the day. We have cell phones and devices, and that just causes us to generally round. But if you can get in the habit of just opening up your chest, pulling the shoulder blades back and down, you're going to train those posture muscles to give you more space in here in the shoulder. So that's my first tip. Next up is when you lift. Generally, a thumbs up position is going to be working best if you're hurting a little bit. Generally, there's a common tendon in the rotator cuff, the supraspinatus, that is usually the one that we most injure. It's easy to injure it and tweak it. So generally what we want to do is, instead of lifting something with your palm facing down, we get you out of what we call the impingement zone, where things are kind of pinching. If we can lift with a thumb up, generally you're going to have better luck with that. I'm not saying always, but generally thumb up position is best. That would also apply out to the sides. Keeping your palms down, but keeping your thumbs up might be a little bit better deal for you, okay? Overhead movements, you probably want to avoid those until your shoulder is settling down. Because if you keep doing things that make your shoulder hurt over and over and over again, you're never going to give it a chance to get better. So if you're reaching up into a high shelf and that arm just won't go very high, maybe it's time to use the other arm for a little while, especially if it's your dominant hand that's bothering you. You might have to get used to your non-dominant side. Also, if this arm is the one that's bothering you, you could move very slowly. That can help get you a little bit more range of motion instead of going really fast. Or the other arm can help assist it, okay, until you're feeling better. But again, don't keep making it angry and irritating it by constantly doing something that's gonna hurt. So avoid those overhead movements if you can. Next up, I've got this band with me. One of the things that we often do with one of the exercises for the shoulders is external rotation. I've got my elbows right at my sides, and I'm just going out like that, okay? Out like that. It's important you not let your elbows leave your sides, and you just go to the point that feels comfortable, okay? It should not hurt. I don't always have people do the internal rotations, because generally when you're carrying something or getting laundry out of the dryer or something like that, you're usually doing the internal rotation motion. So I like getting you stronger in the external. And if you don't have one of those little ring bands, a lot of times people will have one of these long bands. And I would just have you attach this. Perhaps you could just wrap it around. Oftentimes we'll use the stair rail and just kind of put it around there. And that way it's kind of attached to something. And same concept, okay? I wouldn't just strengthen the injured side. I like to strengthen both sides, just because you don't want to get the injured side stronger and then the strong side, the unaffected side, ends up getting a little bit weaker. We like to keep everything as even as possible, okay? And then finally, on your own, before you decide you need to go see somebody, a doctor, about this, try some anti-inflammatories. I'm talking just over-the-counter ibuprofen. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say I officially prescribe this to you, but I found this has helped me. Maybe for a week or two, if things aren't settling down in my shoulder, I'm doing a low-grade ibuprofen, maybe 400 milligrams in the morning, 400 in the evening, and just stay on that for about 5 to 7 days. You want the inflammation to get out of that joint, because if we keep inflammation in there, things are kind of swollen. As I said earlier, it's a tight space. Things are not going to be moving around very well. And then it's the vicious cycle. So we want to get rid of that. Okay? Finally, if things are not settling down after, I would say, about a good 6 to 8 weeks, you've got to give this time. You've got to be patient with it. Might be time to go see an orthopedic surgeon. Now, that word surgeon freaks people out because they think, oh no, surgery. That's not always the case. And most of the time, the literature does show that if you have a partial tear in your rotator cuff versus a full tear, the partials usually don't require surgery. Usually they respond very well to physical therapy and getting stronger. So a lot of times I know when I went to see an orthopedic surgeon about my shoulder, physical therapy right away. And most of the time that does help people. So try these things on your own at home, see if they help, and then just take the next step if you need it. If you need any additional help, get in touch with me and I'm more than happy to help you out. I'll see you next time.